Kings Hockey is brought to you by Kia. To learn more, visit mysocalkia.com. And by Mercury Insurance. Save big on your auto insurance. Get a fast, free quote at mercuryinsurance.com today to see how much you can save.
All right, we're here at Staples Center getting you set, moments away from the Kings and the Sabres. Sean O'Donnell. Hey, Sean, Jonas Enroth, the goalie that the Kings have not seen before. No Ryan Miller, 4 days off. Attack this kid.
That's what they have to do. They have to get traffic. They had their 4 days off. They went over X's and O's. They got a conditioning skate. Now they just have to transfer it and do it out there on the ice.
All right, get some traffic, get some shots, and get the lead. Let's go inside now because Jim Fox is going to get you ready for the start of the game.
All right, Patrick, Sean, thanks very much. Dodge matchup in goal. Of course, it was expected to be a huge matchup. It really is going to kind of go away from that, but 2 points are on the line. We're talking about the NHL right now, not the Olympics. Jonathan Quick, 3 games above 500. He gets to start for the LA Kings. For the Buffalo Sabres are in a back-to-back. They play tomorrow night in Anaheim. Jonas Enroth gets to start. You see his record, 2 games under, goals against, not too bad. Save percentage, not too bad. The Buffalo Sabres, of course, allow a lot of shots on goal against. The officials, that man right there is Chris Rooney. He's joined by Kyle Raymond. They're the referees. On the lines, Brian Murphy, Don Henderson. Tonight's Fox Sports West face-off is delivered by Amtrak. And right now, play-by-play Hall of Famer Bob Miller.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. This game is underway, and the puck slides back into the Buffalo Sabres zone. Jonathan Quick in goal for the Kings. His 300th NHL game here tonight. Puck taken by Buffalo. They get to the King line. Taken across the line and fired down in deep and back behind the net by Henrik Kalinder. Puck comes down into the corner. Molson goes for there for the Buffalo Sabres. Tipped away, and Doughty moves it around the boards. Can the Kings clear? It comes toward the blue line. Brown getting knocked down along the boards was Brown. Sabres trying to hold it in, but Doughty has it again. Now centered right out in front of Quick and taken by the Kings and cleared up ahead to center ice to Brown. Here's Brown across the line. Brown shoots on a save by Enroth. Brown wasting no time pulling the trigger on that shot. Puck comes back around toward the left point, held in by Richards. Tipped there, but slowly it went toward Enroth, and he covered it up.
What to watch for in tonight's game, of course, the Kings had the long layoff, and you check out the rest versus rust. Are they going to be a little sloppy, or maybe the extra energy they'll have? The PK, everyone's talking about that, has to improve. Enroth in goal, he gets to start. We thought it would be Miller, of course, back-to-back. The Buffalo Sabres changing things up. That's not necessarily a situation you would not expect. I mean, that's the norm. Usually you go back-to-back games, you change up your goaltenders, and the Buffalo Sabres elected to go with Enroth.
Now the Kings back in their own zone, getting it around the right wing side, but don't clear it out. It's held in back by Marcus Foligno for Buffalo. He put it down in deep in front, a save by Quick at point blank, and it's poked away back along the right wing boards. Great chance there. Foligno's pass over on the left wing side, and Voynov throws a check. Sabres get it back up the middle to Foligno. Now the left point. Sabres in the King zone. Puck comes down in deep, and Corey Tropp goes for it. Still a battle down the corner there as the puck fought for, and it is taken by the Kings. Mike Richards. Richards up ahead to center ice. He gets checked. He tried to move it ahead to Dwight King. Broken up there. Kings run a line change. Now here's Willie Mitchell. Mitchell down the left side. Mitchell throws it wide to the right side. Puck held in by the Kings again. Pass toward the net. Tipped away behind the net. Kings go for it, but it's tipped away and played there and cleared up ahead to the blue line by Christian Ehrhoff. Now taken across the line, and Drew Stafford drives it down deep in the right wing corner of the Kings zone. Stafford for Buffalo, back to get it. He put it down in deep. Billy Leno with it now. Leno checked there, tried to give it to Stafford, who broke the stick. He's got to get another one. Kings bring it up to center ice. On the left side, Daniel Carcillo. Carcillo moving in deep. Carcillo sends it around the right side and taken there by Matt Fratton. Fratton back to Carcillo. Carcillo in the Sabre zone to the blue line. Holds it right on the line. Got it down in deep to Trevor Lewis. Lewis with Fratton and Carcillo. This line for the Kings. Here's Fratton down in the corner. He gets checked. Trevor Lewis has it. He gets checked there by Jamie McBain of Buffalo. They still battle in the corner, and moving in for Buffalo is Ristolainen, but the Sabres come out with it. They get it up the right wing side, taken by Brian Flynn. Flynn up ahead to center ice, throws it deep into the zone, and Doughty back to get it. He gets checked there, and the puck slides into the right corner. Flynn went for it in front and shot up high and out of play. The shot there by Jurgensen.
Well, the Sabres certainly had the best chances so far in this game. There's Girgensons. We just talked about him in the open. Behind the net, front of the net, one. This is a save and a second save right there by Quick that maybe earlier in his career he would not make. There were times earlier in his career where Jonathan Quick would be out of position after this first one, but watch. Strong pad first time and strong pad second time on the putback. So two big saves, both right there in a row.
Sabres couldn't hold it in. Tyler Myers at the right point had it tipped away, and the Kings get it up ahead now. And here's Nolan with Lyndon Bay. Nolan down the right side. So Lyndon Bay, number 57, in his first ever NHL game. He's got it down the corner. Bay back to the blue line. Holds it in. Throws it down in deep. Back behind the net. Now Jordan Nolan tried to pick it up. Nolan has it. Nolan in the Sabre zone. Drops it off to Regehr, a former member of the Buffalo Sabres, Robin Regehr. And the puck is not cleared out yet. Coming in with a hard check is Nolan. But the Sabres have it, and they get it back out to center ice. Johan Larsson drives it down in deep. In the game the Sabres won in San Jose, Jim, they had a lot of energy at the start of the game, just like tonight. They had good stick work on the penalty kill. They played a heavy game is what people were saying about that game. I'm going to ask you when we get a chance here just what that means to you when you hear that a team plays a heavy game. Taken to center ice, though, by the Sabres and sent across the line into the King zone and chipped back out to center ice.
Now, Bob, I think when you talk about heavy, it's about every opportunity there's contact of some point. And a lot of times when they're talking about the Sabres as a team doing it, that probably means it comes from players you don't necessarily expect the contact to come from. So by the end of the night, the other team gets worn down. They're just kind of tired of being taken out of the play all the time. The Kings, of course, are known as that type of a team on a more consistent basis. The Sabres saw it the other night.
Sabres tried to hold it in the King zone, but couldn't do it. Offside call. There's a look at Jonathan Quick. 300th game tonight. 5 years, 11 months ago tonight, he made his NHL debut against Buffalo and stopped 15 of 17 shots in an 8-2 Kings victory. See if he can duplicate that tonight. That would be nice. Taken by the Kings as they come to center ice now. Pass over the left side to White King. King moving in deep, sends it around the boards off on the right wing side. Martinez playing over on right defense. He held it in. King behind the net. He gets checked there. Foligno had to go behind him. He couldn't find it, but it's held in again now by the Kings as Toffoli sends it in the corner. Toffoli with it. His shot deflected off the boards and picked up now by the Sabres. We're in the first period. Bob Miller along with Jim Fox. No score in the game so far. Kings have won 3 out of their last 4 here at home. Puck comes up to center ice. Willie Mitchell with a check there, and the puck taken back in the King zone by Matt Fratton. Now pass on the right side and chased down in deep into the corner. Picked up there by Fratton again. Fratton with Lewis. So the Sabres break it up, and they come back out to center ice. On the right wing side, Drew Stafford drives it down in deep in the King zone, and Regehr back behind the net. Lewis has it for the Kings to Carcillo. His pass up the middle, deflected and held in for a moment, but then cleared up to center ice, and Sabres come back to take it away.
Well, that last dumping by Stafford, Bob, that's part of that heavy game that you were talking about, the Sabres talking about. He had the option to carry it in, elected to dump it in. That puts the puck in position where his teammates himself, they can get hits, they can play a more heavy game. A less skilled game, more heavy game.
Tyler Myers back to get it. He dropped it off, and Stafford up to center ice, but his pass taken away by Alec Martinez. Over now to Willie Mitchell. Mitchell for the Kings. Deep into the Buffalo zone. Played it along the board by Nolan. Nolan got checked, and the Sabres come out with it back up to center ice. No score here in the first period. Sabres into the King zone. Down the right side by Willie Mitchell. Threw a check there. And the pass back up the middle. Trop went for it. Now in front, a shot and a save by Quick on that shot. Ehrhoff with a chance, and now puck comes along the left wing boards, and the Sabres still with it.
Well, the Sabres certainly finding their way to the front of the net. They're getting some chances point blank.
Here's Corey Trop, right wing side. Or Girgensson, I'm sorry. Girgensson with it, puts it back behind the net. Sabres still control it. Taken by Larsson to the right point to Pesek. Now left side, then thrown into the corner, and the Kings try to get control and get it out of their own zone. Unable to do so yet. Now it's cleared back into the Sabres zone, and icing called here against the Kings. So the Sabres have had some pretty good pressure in the Kings zone.
They certainly have, and of course that first chance they had was impressive in front. The second chance, look at Jonathan Quick. Look at how low he is down here trying to find the puck. Now what happens is it goes into a Buffalo Sabre in behind Jonathan Quick. Look how quick he waves that with his glove. It looks like in behind there is either Ristolainen or perhaps Flynn. It might have been Flynn, Brian Flynn. Well, yeah, who's in behind there? So is that a lucky break? It's a credit the Sabres. They're going to the front with a purpose so far. It's early. Again, the 2 saves that Quick made in a row, 2 pad saves. That one right there, you saw with all that traffic how he had to adjust his positioning. And he had to get low to try to find it. Credit the Sabres for shooting high. Now, going over to the bench right now, Jonas Enroth, you have to ask as a goaltender, if you have an equipment problem, you have to ask the referee to go over to the bench. It's not something you can make a decision of unto yourself, because of course goalies would do that to buy time for a tired teammate, slow it down. There's Ryan Miller in behind with the hockey tooth on, I guess we call it. Of course, expected to duel it out with Jonathan Quick for the #1 position for the Olympic team. And Roth just took like a little attention with a little bit of tape in behind there on the top of the knob, maybe below the knob. He gets it done. So not necessarily equipment as far as pads or shoulder pads. It was a stick.
Well, you would call it a toque that Ryan Miller's wearing. You're Canadian. I'd call it a knit cap.
Ah, there you go.
No score here in the first period. We'll be right back. There's another look at Ryan Miller.
All right, welcome back. I'm Patrick O'Neill. Well, former King and former Islander Matt Moulson may not want to talk about it too much, but let's face it, him and Jonathan Quick are brother-in-laws. And I asked Jonathan Quick, hey, maybe Moulson is unrestricted a King next year? And Quicky's like, I don't know, man, that cap. Thing about the salary cap, no one knows what it's going to be next year, who the team is going to be, what the inflated salary cap will be, but he sure would look good back in a Kings sweater, Father Jim.
And of course, if Matt Moulson were to play the left wing, again, the Kings are concerned about production on the left wing, but Matt Moulson, he said he has 2 goals against Jonathan Quick, but at the same time, he feels that Jonathan Quick has owned him, as he says, in games that he's played against Jonathan and the Kings.
Nice centering pass there, but a shot deflected wide. The pass by Tyler Ennis. And now behind the net, the Kings have it in their own zone.
No one missed, Bob, but again, that's the 3rd opportunity right from the middle for the Buffalo Sabres. So that's a concern to start here in this first period for the Kings, taking away the middle.
Here's Kopitar on the right side. Williams in to get it. Brown, Kopitar, and Williams up front for the Kings. Sabres break back out to center ice. Down the right side and across the line. Ennis in deep, and a penalty coming up here against the Kings. Delayed call against the Kings. And a whistle stops play, and we have a holding penalty here against the Kings. So let's see what the Kings penalty kill can do now in this situation.
They've been working on the penalty kill. It's been struggling. Daryl Sutter talking about specific players, looking for veterans. Mitchell and Matt Green not in the lineup to kind of shore things up. Stick. And then a little grab right there. Yeah, you can see him. Do-si-do, no question. Jake Muzzin went in reaching with a stick. Missed that way. So then he decided, I've got to do something else. A little too much extra. So a chance here for King on a penalty kill early in the game. They've got to get it going here.
Buffalo on their power play, 23rd in the league. The King penalty killing is 21st. They've allowed 9 power play goals the last 26 times short, and a power play goal in 6 consecutive games. Let's see what they do here. But driven across the line, but the Sabres are offside. And the face-off coming up.
Willie Mitchell, he was talking about by Daryl Sutter the other day, was asked about that yesterday at practice. He said, well, that's Daryl being Daryl. Direct criticism, not unusual. He also said, hey, I take a lot of pride in the penalty kill. He's labeled as a top penalty killer, so he's expected to do that job. And the one thing both he and Matt Green, I talked to Matt a couple days ago, they both mentioned the same thing. And now it looks like Chris Rooney over to talk to Daryl Sutter. I think he's not happy, the referee, with a line change that he made. And you can see now Lewis going back over top. But with Mitchell and Green, they were both talking about the same thing. They felt they had to have a better balance between the emotional aspect of the penalty kill and the tactical aspect. So they felt they were running around and maybe working too hard, and then all of a sudden you lose your position. They're talking about position first, then figure out the emotional part.
Sabres drive it into the King zone. Puck comes up the middle. Pysyk at the right point. Up the middle, a shot deflected wide. That hard shot from back of the blue line deflected over and cleared by Dwight King. That was Tyler Myers getting the shot.
That was fundamentally sound by Jonathan Quick. Of course, anytime that shot comes from the middle, it creates a double option. Maybe the puck comes right back at you. That time, Quick, extra attention, kicking it right to the corner.
Now across the line into the King zone. Puck comes on the right wing side and chased down by Cody Hodgson. Hodgson, second in points on the team and leads them in assists. The power play is led by Molson. He's got 5, and the Kings take it away. Here is Kyle Clifford. He clears it into the Buffalo zone. 40 seconds left to go in the King penalty to Jake Muzzin. Puck comes up to center ice. Sabres move it off on the right side and across the line. Hodgson tried to send it in deep, broken up, but held in right on the line, and then blocked in front and cleared again by the Kings as Robin Regehr drives it into the Sabre zone. 20 seconds left to go in the King penalty. Up to center ice, Jamie McBain for Buffalo. McBain, out of Edina, Minnesota, played at the University of Wisconsin. Puck is taken by Buffalo, passed down into the right wing corner, going forward back behind the net. Tyler Ennis. Ennis gets knocked down to his knees, clears it out to the right point, taken there by Ehrhoff. Power play is over. Kings have it. Out of the penalty box is Muzzin to tip it to Kopitar. Now to the blue line. Taken by Williams at the left point. Williams, stick handle, still has it. Williams shoots and a save by Ehrhoff.
Justin Williams, a little delay, wait for some traffic, wait for some help. Pretty good shot. No score, Kings and Sabres. Goaltenders have a chance to work on their game in the 4 days off. Lincoln replay shows that last shot by Myers comes from the middle. Foligno's in front, but he moves out of the way. Allows Quick to get the pad on it and to stick to. That's important because watch, where's the rebound go? Not out front. Directed right into the corner, out of harm's way, out of trouble, and a good job there. Now, I'm sure Foligno could do it again. He would stay around and provide more of a screen. If you have the screen, then you let the goaltender off the hook. If the goaltender allows a rebound to the middle on a screen, you understand why. He can't see it. Just make the save. Foligno was in front, moved, and moved out of the way for Quick. Able to see that shot?
Andrei Kopitar won the face-off. Kings in the Sabre zone, but the Sabres have it now. It's taken by Tyler Myers, former NHL Rookie of the Year. He gets it to center ice. Sabres drive it down deep into the King zone. Chase down into the corner and sent to the blue line, but Myers has it again for the Sabres. However, a Sabre pass comes out to center ice. And now it's fired right back in, and Quick cuts it off behind the net. Kings are slow to get to it, and puck comes into the corner. Barreling in there was Marcus Foligno. He's the son of Mike Foligno, the former player with the Buffalo Sabres, and the puck cleared up ahead now by the Kings to Kopitar. Here's Kopitar to center ice. Kopitar drops it back to Williams. His shot hit a leg and went wide, and back to center ice. Sabres with it. Stafford across the line, left side, driving in. Stafford goes behind the net, still has the puck. Centers it out in front, and Quick dives to cover it up. And he hangs on.
And again, the Sabres are going to the net, so they're creating something out of nothing sometimes. And Quick finally able to hold on there and just make sure that bouncing puck. Alec Martinez back in the lineup. Foligno does a good job there. You see him finish the check all the way. Again, that's the part of the heavy game the Sabres want to play. There's another one, Foligno twice on Martinez. So get the job done, Foligno. A big, big kid. I mean, really, you can see there, throws his weight around 223. And very smartly with purpose.
Now off the draw, up the middle, a shot knocked away by Quick. That shot came from Jamie McBain.
Once again, it looks like Quick is very sharp. Just completely directs that puck to the corner.
Paddling in the corner, Cody McCormick for Buffalo. He dropped it off. Fratton goes to get it. Tipped away from him. Lewis has it. Kings still in their own zone. The Sabres have done a great job here in the first period, putting pressure on, but now it comes to center ice, chased down by Fratton. Poke checked away from him on a nice play by Jamie McBain.
And McBain was in between, you could tell. Go forward, go back, finally elected to use the poke check, and he gets it off the stick.
Carcillo down the left side for the Sabres, for the Kings into the Sabre zone. Puck is held in on the right side by Lewis, who threw a check, but now McCormick has it, and he clears it up to center ice. No score in the first period, and the puck taken down, sent deep into the Kings zone where Robin Regehr over to get it. Sabres take it away, though, and get it out to the right point. Who's going to get there? Kings do, and it's cleared out to center by Voynov. Sabres get it right back again. Here they come across the line into the Kings zone. A shot just wide to the left side. Poked away there. Johan Larsson pulled the trigger on that, sent it just wide.
So far, Bob, the Kings, you talk about sharpness. I think Jonathan Quick is very sharp. Other than that, though, the game speed right now directed by the Buffalo Sabres, they seem to be a little bit quicker and less hesitation to get the puck moving.
Here on the right side, Larson, but he can't hang on. Cleared up to center ice. Toffoli leaves it for Dwight King. Toffoli gets knocked down. King has the puck. Dwight King couldn't get around Christian Ehrhoff. And the puck taken by the Sabres and cleared up in the air and all the way back into the Kings zone. Tipped there, so no icing. Taken by Alec Martinez. These teams haven't played since October 8th of 2011. Now they're going to play twice in 5 days. First game of the next road trip is going to be in Buffalo on Tuesday night. Sabres in their own zone. Clearing up ahead to center and down into the Kings zone. And picked up there by Martinez to Kopitar. His pass up the middle. Look out. And the Kings do get it out to center ice.
Normally it's Kopitar in the middle of the ice. That time he found the defenseman right in front. Then got help from the forward, Justin Williams. Those little things that Justin Williams does during a game. Doesn't leave the zone without the puck.
Cody Hodgson, right side, across the blue line, dropped it back. Sabres in the Kings zone. A shot knocked down in front. Rebound, pass in front, hit a body and dropped down. The shot was by Tallinder and dropped down right to Clifford. Here's Clifford across the line. Clifford moving in. He shoots and a save and a rebound. Taken by the Kings up the middle. Muzzin with a shot blocked in front.
I think that hit Nolan. So one hit the Sabres themselves. The Kings do the same thing at their other end.
Nolan with it to Doughty. His shot, a save, and a puck comes back out to center ice.
So the Kings getting some chances. Most of them coming from the blue line. Muzzin and Doughty.
Now here's Clifford on the left wing. Sabres zone. Throws it around the right side. And Toffoli couldn't catch up with it. Taken by the Sabres. Back up to center ice. Thrown in deep by Corey Trop. He's out of Michigan State University. He goes down to the ice. Puck is centered and intercepted by the Kings in their own zone. Cleared up ahead by Dwight King out to center ice. And Richards sends it into the Sabres zone.
Another opportunity for the Kings to try to get speed, but good gap control so far by the Buffalo Sabres. So the Kings are able to make that first pass, but not the second one.
Sabres back to center. They give it to Corey Trop. He gets knocked down by Regehr. And the Kings control it in their own zone. They get it up ahead to Dwight King. King up to center. Backhands it in. Easily stopped. Is sliding out to his right was Jonas Enroth. And the puck taken by Mark Vezek.
He made that save with the tape he put on the end of the stick there. Pretty good decision by him.
Puck taken by Willie Mitchell in the Kings zone. He got it up to center ice, but all the way down the Sabres zone. This is going to be icing against the Kings. 4:49 to go in the first period. No score.
The Kings set to take on the Ducks. Dodger Stadium, January 25, part of the Outdoor NHL Stadium Series. Don't miss the opportunity. Of course, it will be an historic moment for the NHL and, of course, for the Kings and Ducks. Purchase a ticket plan today and get access before the public sale on November 19th. So you get in early, get a better choice. This game will sell out. So January 25, Dodger Stadium, Kings and Ducks.
On the draw here in the Kings zone, the puck battled for and played by the Kings. Carcillo into the corner, but taken away by the Sabres in front, and a save on that shot there by Billy Leno.
Looked like the Leaning Tower of Pisa save again by Quick. He just leaned, stayed in position, made the stop.
Puck taken by Billy Leno again. Now a shot by Stafford, deflected up over the glass, out of play. So the Sabres continue to put some pressure on the Kings zone after the Kings had some pressure on the Buffalo Sabres. We'll be back.
There's a couple of times this year that Trevor Lewis has played on the wing. He's played centers. A couple of times he's played goaltender. One in Minnesota, and of course that last shift. I mentioned Leaning Tower of Pisa. Leno will get the puck in front. Quick goes down, and he leans and leans and leans, but watch this shot. It ends up into the midsection, right in there of Trevor Lewis, and Lewis able to get the save on that play. So he helps out the goaltender by getting back. Look at Quick. He fell in a position, but Trevor Lewis doing the job as the centerman should be. His responsibility, get back, get down low, and help out. Quick doesn't have to make the save.
Well, that pasta and the pregame meal worked out well that time. Puck comes back to the right point and held in by the Sabres. They get it to Cody Hodgson. Hodgson tried to catch up with it. He centered it, but taken away by Doughty. Doughty moves it around the boards. Kings are here again, the last game of the homestand on Saturday night against the Vancouver Canucks. That's a 7 p.m. start. Take note of that, 7 p.m. Saturday night. Puck taken by Kopitar. Kopitar with 3 goals, 7 assists for 10 points in his last 7 games, and he's got the puck right now as he comes across the line. Kopitar moving in, still has it. Sabre zone, drops it off to Muzzin to Kopitar, shoots and hit the goaltender in the chest. Puck comes off on the right side to Doughty. Doughty down in deep. Doughty's pass back on the right side. Muzzin going off the ice. Puck comes back toward the blue line and out to center ice. Kings get to it though, and it's tipped over to Kopitar.
Seems like the Kings have been most effective with shots on goal or attempts on goal with Doughty and Muzzin on the ice. A good exchange there. Kopitar to Muzzin skating down low. All 5 guys involved.
Here's Richards, left wing. Richards in the Sabre zone. He gets checked there. King comes barreling in. And the Sabres take the puck away though and clear it out to center ice. And it's tipped up into the penalty box with 3:11 to go here in the first period.
Remember that save Trevor Lewis made last shift, Bob? Again, we talked about the Corsi rating during the pregame show. It's a plus-minus statistic. Well, he makes the save, so there's no shot on goal for the Sabres, but it is a plus in the Corsi for the Sabres and a minus for the Kings and Trevor Lewis because it was an attempt on goal. It was a block shot.
Richards wins the draw, but it gets by Regehr back out to center ice. King scratches tonight, Matt Green, Colin Fraser, and Jarrett Stoll. And of course, still out of the lineup is Jeff Carter on IR with that lower body injury. Puck taken away for a moment by Richards, and on his knees he tried to make a pass but couldn't complete it.
He made a couple of curl and drag moves right there while he was down on his knees. And Richards is that type of player. You see it all the time where he gets his body or his stick in the way. He disrupts a lot of things that are going on. Right. He's not very good at holding onto his mouthpiece when it falls out of his mouth. But now once, pull and drag, and tried it again, and finally the Sabres come back to collapse on him. But he broke that play up. The Sabres thought they were leaving the zone, couldn't do so because of the stick work of Mike Richards.
Richards with 6 points last 6 games. There's a shot from the top of the slot, but it was deflected. Martinez getting the shot, and now he chases it all the way back in the Kings zone. Up ahead now to center ice. Driven off the boards left side by Lyndon Vey, the King rookie in his first NHL game. Puck comes into the corner to Clifford. He got knocked down. Vey has it. Penalty against the Sabres. Delayed call. Puck taken and a penalty against the Sabres. I think high stick was the indication.
It is Myers that's going to the box, so when you're 6'8",
it's always a high stick.
Yeah, it's a pretty good chance it's going to be high.
2 minutes interference.
Interference is the official call, so it's interference with a high stick. Let's call it that way. But the Kings will now get their chance on the power play. It's down low, and it's a push and a shove, and Clifford's looking for a puck, but the puck wasn't there. Clifford didn't have it. There was too much contact between Myers and Clifford. Cross-checked a little bit right there into the back. Interference to call.
Kings' first power play opportunity of the night. They scored a power play goal in 3 straight games. Here is Lyndon Vey on the power play, back to the right point, but broken up and cleared into the Kings zone.
So Daryl Sutter goes with Lyndon Vey. First NHL game, first chance on a power play for the Kings, and of course, depending on who was on the ice previous to that, but I don't think it was the power play guys that were on the ice. Lyndon Vey getting a shift right here. That's a lot of confidence shown by the coach.
Now behind the net, Kings with it and tipped away and played by the Sabres, and Ristolainen can't clear. Kings hold it in. Sabres almost took it away. Now it comes into Brown. Brown's pass off on the right side, intercepted there, and Stafford clears it back into the King zone for the Sabres.
You had Tallinder there, then you had Stafford. Did a real good job on that PK because the Kings had a forward driving to the net, Brown. Then they had a backdoor player driving to the net. 2 Sabres needed on the play, and they made the play.
Now across the line, right side in deep. The shot is deflected wide as Doughty came down the right wing side. Now a battle along the boards in the Sabres zone. Toffoli trying to get it to Doughty. Now it comes to Richards. Richards turns top of the slot. He shoots. Knocked down there by Enroth and then cleared back down into the King zone. Cleared by Christian Ehrhoff.
We saw Richards take the puck to the middle, walk the line, get it there. It looked like the Kings did not have much traffic. A lot of time, but not much traffic right in front of Enroth.
Under a minute to play in the first period. Here is Kopitar. Kopitar left side. Kopitar drives it around the boards out to the right point. Doughty trying to hold it in. He did. He got it there. And back at the blue line. Kings have it to Muzzin. He shoots and it's deflected wide. Picked up by Kopitar.
That time there was traffic.
Here's Muzzin again. He waits. He shoots. Score! Tipped in front. Richards was there. Kings have a 1-0
Muzzin kind of takes over and just making sure shots are getting through. He had one stopped earlier. Faced the shooter. Look at Muzzin hold that stick. And it was Richards. He redirects the puck from one side to the other. Watch Muzzin. He's going to hold, wait for the lane, then fire. And that's so important right there to make sure that puck gets through. And that is a skill. We talked about that in the open. His ability to wait and change the point of attack and get shots through. A low shot, a deflected shot, a power play goal. Kings lead 1-0.
Now the Sabres bring it in the Kings zone, but it's sent ahead by the Kings, and getting stopped at the blue line was Stratton. So Richards gets his 4th of the year. The Sabres drive it into the corner. The Sabres this season, right to this point, have been outscored in the first period 22-2. So they played well in this period.
They go in the front of the net. And for a certain point there was an issue of the Kings having too many chances right in front of their net, but they cleaned it up a little bit later. And again, Muzzin doing such a good job right there, making sure to change the point of attack. And so a period that kind of started slow as far as pace for the Kings, they certainly picked it up. Richards gets it. The Kings have a 1-0 lead.
Richards is 4th from Muzzin and Toffoli at 19-24. Kings lead at 1-0 as they leave the ice for the dressing room, and Jim Fox will be talking with Trevor Lewis right after this. Kings hockey is brought to you by AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. By Supercuts. Rock the cut at Supercuts. Visit supercuts.com to find the location nearest you. And by Jack in the Box. Satisfy your late night cravings with Jack's Munchie Meal. Available after 9 p.m. at participating restaurants.
Welcome back downtown Los Angeles. Beautiful look high above Staples Center. The Kings with a 1-0 lead over the Buffalo Sabres. Barry's Tickets is going to take us through what's happening the next little while for the Kings. Saturday back here against Vancouver. Then the Buffalo Sabres again on the road. The Islanders. The Devils. We've seen the Rangers already here at Staples Center the 17th at Madison Square Garden. We have seen the Tampa Bay Lightning on the road back here at Staples on the 19th. Look at that, New Jersey. 2 games in 6 days. They're back here at Staples Center on the 21st. And our first look at the Colorado Avalanche. What a start they've had the 23rd. The Avalanche visiting Staples Center. So I think the guys were talking about it there. Mike Richards gets the goal. It did look like the game pace was controlled by the Sabres earlier on. And again, that's that rest versus rust. Sometimes you feel you have the energy, but you're just reading things a little bit slower. You slow down your game. But the Kings getting back in the last 5 minutes.
Second period underway. Both teams at full strength. Puck comes into the Sabres zone. Tipped away, though, to the blue line and held in there by the Kings as it comes back to the blue line of the Kings and fired down in deep back behind the net. Played there as it was thrown in by Tyler Ennis. Now down the corner. Here's Ennis again. He got knocked down along the boards. Threw it right in front. Tipped away there by Quick up ahead to center.
Matt Molson has the puck. Looked like a broken play, and Quick somehow found a way to hang on and drag the pad to make the save.
Now the puck taken by the Kings. Here's Williams up the middle and a shot on a save. A quick shot there from right at the top of the slot. And a save made by the goaltender on that quick shot by Voynov.
Yeah, Voynov didn't get all he wanted. Watch us kind of play to the front. Not a broken play, but look at Quick. Look at him take the step forward. Look at him lunge out there. He goes out with a pad. That's so important to get that pad out there. So not only is he going laterally, he's going at the puck. And that's important to cut down and close down that angle. Makes the save on his brother-in-law, Matt Molson.
Now the puck back behind the Sabre net and taken there by Mark Pysyk. 21 years old, their number 1 pick in 2010. In the pregame show, Sean O'Donnell talking a lot about the draft choices the Sabres are stockpiling, and it's going to be a few years, but they're rebuilding, and they're going to have some youngsters in there, a lot more youngsters. They've got 4 teenagers on their roster, 2 of them playing in the game tonight. Back to the blue line, shot by Ehrhoff is wide to the right side. Ehrhoff's out of Germany. He's in his 10th year. Puck comes back into the neutral zone and thrown right back deep in the Kings zone where Robin Regehr goes back to get it.
We talked about it, earlier, Bob. It's a development issue right now with the Buffalo Sabres, and You know, the draft picks they've stockpiled, they might get more. They have Ott, they have Molson, they have Miller as unrestricted free agents at the end of this year. So if they happen to let go of those guys at the trade deadline, they're stockpiling. And, of course, it's development right now, very young as a group.
Willie Mitchell got it back out of the King zone out to center ice. The last time these two teams met, October 8th, 2011, it was in Berlin, Germany, and the Sabres won the game 4-2, and Jim and I had a great view of that game from Berlin. We were in downtown L.A.
It was beautiful in the studio doing it that way, so yeah, it was a lot of fun doing it that. Of course, the NHL didn't do it last year because of the lockout uncertainty to do it this year. A lot of discussion that maybe they won't never necessarily do it again to open up in Europe to start the season. But talk about World Cup coming back along with Olympic Games and Canada Cups and those types of things where you have country against country.
Well, what was it? 4 teams that went to Europe to open the season won the Stanley Cup, including the Kings.
4 years in a row. So everyone, that travel, it's going to slow you down. It's not going to get you out of sync. Well,
now they all put us up there in Europe to start the season.
Send us again.
Puck comes to the left side of the net, tip wide. Kings in the Sabre zone. Back to the blue line it goes. Martinez sends it left side, and it is Mitchell with a shot and a save by Enroth. And he hangs on.
There's Trevor Lewis. He was in front of his own net. That same net in the first period where he made his save. Maybe the second goal-saving stop he's made this year. We're just talking about the upcoming picks. Looking back, though, with the Buffalo Sabres, Bob, not necessarily players drafted by them. There's Ron Rolston, the head coach. Drafted at any point in the first round. 10 players that are playing on this current team were drafted, not all in the lineup tonight, but they're on the roster, the 23-man roster entering tonight. 10 players were former first-round picks in the National Hockey League, so another part of that issue where they're getting younger, and development will be a huge issue.
Now off the draw, it is cleared back out to center ice. My advice would be draft some guys named Smith and Brown and Green. They're drafting a lot of guys with some hard names to pronounce. Of course, they don't care as long as they can put it in the net.
There is an issue there as far as style. I mean, you can have too many North American style players. You can have too many European style players, and you're always looking for that balance and mix and try to get it right.
Puck flipped high up on the glass and out to the right point and out to center ice. Kings with a 1-0 lead, and a stick goes flying there, a Sabre stick that came out of the hands of Brian Flynn. And back down into the King zone. Drew Doughty back to get it. Richards has the King goal. Points in 3 straight for Richards. 2 goals, 2 assists. Muzzin with an assist. He has 3 assists in the last 2, and he has the puck right now. And then Toffoli had an assist, his second assist of the season. Puck banked off the boards by Muzzin, and he's going to go to the bench as the Kings change on the fly. 16:34 to go here in the second period. 1-0 Kings. Sabres come across the line. It's thrown wide of the net by Matt Molson. Now along the boards, Kings control it and try to clear. They get it out to center ice. Broken up there and fired right back in by Christian Ehrhoff. Kings back in to get it, and Regier starts back up to center ice. Throws it back behind the net. Cut off there by Jonas Enroth. His pass along the boards. We were showing Ryan Miller, the other goaltender, over on the bench. He's normally the starter. This is covered by Quick, but he faced 51 shots the other night in San Jose and made 47 saves, so he deserves a little rest over on the bench.
Well, I have my take on who should be the #1 goalie for the U.S. Olympic team, and it has to do with the extra skill you see on Olympic teams. Sometimes you can have a goaltender that plays a style that fits the style of your team, but when you're playing Olympics, everyone on the other team can score with high skill level. That's why I go with the guy that can make the most spectacular save and the most athletic goaltender, and you know where I'm leaning, and I'm truthful of that. I think in that specific situation, Jonathan Quick is the perfect fit for a team like that, because it's not going to be a dump and chase type of a tournament. It's going to be a tournament offside here for the Kings, the delay, but it's going to be a tournament where high-skilled players are going to be moving the puck around laterally in the offensive zones, and if it gets to an area where you have, say, you feel that Quick's on his game, you feel Miller's on top of his game, if there's a tie, I go with Jonathan Quick because of his ability to make big saves against highly skilled players.
Now you saw Ryan Miller again over the bench. He was born in East Lansing, Michigan, went to Michigan State University. And he gets a rest here tonight. The 51 shots he faced the other night were the most he's faced in his NHL career.
and there are some goaltenders that are known as kind of stay-at-home goaltenders. I think Miller fits into kind of the hybrid. He has some activity, he has some athleticism, but he does rely on position. Again, with Jonathan Quick, he relies on athleticism after establishing that first position. But again, that lateral movement, the explosion across the crease. You compare the numbers right now, Miller has a higher save percentage, so from the numbers, he gets the nod there.
Now the Kings a wraparound there, and a penalty coming up here. A wraparound try by Carcillo.
Might be.
Everybody looking around, who's going to the penalty box?
If I were to guess, it would be Daniel Carcillo.
I think you're right. He's going slowly that way.
It's one of those things where he has the rep. He was involved in an offensive chance on the play. But those offensive zone penalties are the one thing that Daryl Sutter has specifically talked about with the team taking a lot of penalties. And hooking is the official call, so Carcillo gets the shot and chance. And
2 minutes more hooking.
see, he gets the stick caught right underneath the pant of McBain. I mean, it went right up into the pant leg, and he couldn't get it out, and he pulled back, and you saw McBain fall off balance right before the whistle went.
Now the power play for the Sabres, their second of the night. Here on the left side of the Kings zone, they move it in. Molson's pass almost deflected off. It did deflect off of Regehr, but wide of the net. Molson again gets it out to Ehrhoff. And the Kings try to take it away. They do, and Richards clears it back down into the zone. Good play by Richards.
Still early on this penalty kill, but that rotation was much better by the Kings. One guy has to start it, and everyone has to follow through the other three guys. And you can't have all guys reacting at the same time. It has to be one after another. The Kings certainly did that back on the last attempt by the Sabres.
Molson's pass taken away. He, as I mentioned earlier, leads the Sabres with 5 power play goals. That's tied for second most in the NHL. Back up to center ice. Here's Matt Molson. Molson across the line. He gets hit pretty hard there by Voynov. Puck is in the Kings zone. Molson takes it away, though, and holds it in. Pass back to Molson. Didn't connect. Taken back behind the net. Tyler Ennis. Ennis, right side. Back to the blue line and held in by Ehrhoff. Down into Molson. He tipped it behind the net, but the Kings take it away, and it is cleared the length of the ice by Trevor Lewis.
Mitchell uses the pass. Remember at Staples here a couple of games ago where he went to try to clear it, didn't, and the opposition scored the goal. He had the option of the pass. That time right there, his read was perfect. Lewis in a support position, make the pass, then clear the zone.
Sabres, Drew Stafford drives it deep in the Kings zone, taken away and cleared again. Back out to center ice and into the Sabres zone. Cleared there by Drew Doughty. 28 seconds left to go in the Sabre power play. Kings with a 1-0 lead. We're in the second period. Pass over the left side to Marcus Foligno. Throws it down in deep. Here in the corner is Regehr. Now the right point held in by the Sabres. Kings couldn't clear. Shot is wide to the right side. A hard shot from back of the blue line. That shot by Tyler Myers. Now Myers again. Myers sends it up the middle to Stafford. Stafford pulls it away, gives it to Myers. He walks in front. He shoots. Saved by Quick. Loose puck up the middle. Kings have it. And out of the penalty box, Carcillo, and they couldn't hit him with a pass. And it came right toward the goaltender, Enroth, and he covers it up.
Clifford had it, tried to lead him. Carcillo was in behind, had to kind of try to time it. Timing wasn't there, and the pass misses. Still 1-0 Kings. Mitchell and Lewis, you have that communication. You have just that read situation where a forward supports. This is on a penalty kill. Puck's going to come along the boards, and the Kings not able to get it out, but the Sabres not able to make a play with it either. You're going to stop right here. Here's Trevor Lewis. He's the guy that's operating with his defense partner right here. What's going to happen? Support. Well, the puck ends up going around the boards. Do you look to clear it or no? Watch this. Right here. Pass right here. Lewis is in position, receives the pass, and the Kings able to clear from that point. So nice read by Mitchell. Good support by Lewis. The Kings get the job done on the penalty kill.
And off the draw here, the Sabres clear it up to center ice. So the Kings have killed the 2 penalties that has put them short-handed in this game. Puck flipped down into the Sabres zone and taken there by Ristolainen, one of the 19-year-olds on this team. Puck up left side into the Kings zone and in deep, broken up there, sent down in deep by Billy Leno. Leno chases it down in the right wing corner. Leno back to the right point. Now knocked down, Kings have it. Back up to center ice they come. Here across the line, pass on the right side, Kopitar to Williams. Williams shoots and a save by Enroth.
Williams wanted to pass to Kopitar, but then couldn't get it, so he says, get it on net. We talked about Corsi earlier, shots on goal. Attempted shots that are blocked or attempted shots that you miss the net, you get a plus for that. Williams is one of the highest Corsi players in the league, and kind of theming that tonight. And that was an opportunity where he might not have got a shot on goal, but he did. He looked for the pass, wasn't there, get the puck on net.
Face off in the Sabre zone with Richards on the draw, and the puck taken by the Sabres. The face-off won by the Sabres, Johan Larsson, and they're going to clear it up to the blue line, and Larsson gets it all the way off the boards back into the Kings zone, and Muzzin back to get it. He gives it over to Drew Doughty. Here's Doughty up the center. Doughty's pass ahead to Richards, off his stick, taken away and sent back into the Kings zone, and Doughty back in to pick it up there. Over to Muzzin. Kings home on Saturday night, and Muzzin's long pass, and this is icing against the Kings.
Reminder to Kings fans, 10-game, 21-game packages still available. You can purchase your partial plan today to guarantee tickets. Biggest opponents of the year, some real good games in these packages. Bruins, Blackhawks, Red Wings, Ducks. Opportunity to purchase Stadium Series tickets. Of course, that game January 23rd to 25th. Outdoors, Dodger Stadium, Kings, Ducks. LAKings.com/tickets for more info.
Face off in the Kings zone, won by Richards. Into the corner to Muzzin. Now Doughty sends it around the boards, intercepted there. Held in by the Sabres. Kalinger back to the blue line. Cody Hodgson with it on the left wing. Hodgson coming in. He had a man in front, and Hodgson shoots it, deflected right back to him, and a save by Quick.
A weird play right there. Olsen ends up at the end of it like he ends up a lot of these plays where he just seems to find a way to get to the front. Doughty was a little uncertain of what was going to go on, so he ends up blocking the pass, but then Hodgson almost gets it. Now, when Doughty goes down there, he blocks it, but then look at that. Look at the stick on stick. He gets it done. He gets the stick into the hands a little bit, so... But that's just a great reaction by a field player out there. Doughty blocking the lane, then blocking the shot.
Kopitar down in deep in the corner. And Voynov came by to try and get it. Didn't do it. Sabres hold it in at the blue line. A shot deflected wide to the left side. A shot by Kalinger. And the Kings trying to clear. Don't do it yet. Now Brown gets it out to center ice. And back to get it is Henrik Kalinger.
A little bit of a push here by the Sabres. The icing here, but... a bit more time spent in the offensive zone.
In the second period this year, the Sabres have scored 15 goals and the opponents 15. So they've been even in the second period. There's their coach. You saw him before, Ron Ralston. His first full year, coached 31 games last season. He was a head coach at Rochester in the American League for 2 seasons. He's out of Fenton, Michigan. Played hockey at Michigan Tech, but never played in the NHL.
After that 5-4 win the other night in San Jose, he says it's up to this team now to build on that. And so far, I mean, so good. They're trailing in the game, but a solid game by the Sabres.
Kings take it away. Lewis walks in front, shoots. Hodgson knocked it down, and he hangs on to it.
Well, there's a direct, no hesitation play right there by Trevor Lewis. I mean, he just put his shoulder down and got it to the front. Had the option to go behind. No way. Let's get it to the front here. See if there's going to be a second opportunity. Credit Enroth. Watch the paddle down flat. That's the technique used. Look at the good technique by the goaltender Enroth. Then no chance for a rebound. The Kings are digging for one, but no chance. Stick and glove, everything coming up.
We're in the second period with 11:21 to go in this period. And the Kings win the draw here again as Carcillo came in to take the faceoff. Here's Lewis. He got checked there. Puck comes into the corner. Played there by Ristolainen and cleared out to center ice and into the Kings zone. And Doughty with a burst of speed causes the icing call against Buffalo.
Dan Carcillo took that faceoff, Bob. Daniel Carcillo. He likes to be called Daniel. He ended up snapping his stick, went to the bench, got a quick stick quickly. It wasn't his own stick. Goes over, he's going to be right there. You see, he gets a stick from someone now, but that happens so quickly. But then he got back involved in the play and then ends up going back to the bench the second time to get his stick, something he'd feel a little bit more comfortable with.
In the Kings zone, a pass by Quick into the corner, and the Kings break out to center ice. Here on the right wing side, Jordan Nolan. Nolan driving in with Lyndon Bay. Nolan still with it. Nolan back to the blue line. Shot from there by Mitchell up high and off the glass. Played in the corner. Hard check there by Clifford. A good check on Ristolainen. Rasmus Ristolainen. He's only 19. Shot from the right side and sliding was Quick to knock it into the corner, and the puck taken by the Sabres again. Pass up the middle by Ott. Then a shot from there is wide to the right side as that shot by Mark Pysyk. Back up the middle again, and a shot knocked down. Kalinger with a shot. Tipped away. Ehrhoff with that shot. Now back to the blue line.
This push continues by the Sabres. They get chances, shots, block shots, everything. Just missing.
Now right up the middle, and it deflected away, and the Kings unable to clear it yet, but coming back to take it and clear it out to center ice, Kyle Clifford.
Buffalo Sabres are swarming the puck, and they're trying to build on what happened the other night. They're trying to create some more offense. They're doing it here.
Now left side, Stafford in the Kings zone, turns, shoots, knocked down in front. Voynov in the corner. Voynov picks it up. He sends it around the right wing side, and the Kings back up to center ice. Pass ahead across the blue line, batted away, right back in, and chased down in deep now by Billy Leno of Buffalo. Kings have it though, and they move it up the middle again. They don't clear it out. Here's Billy Leno, left side down into the corner, checked there by Regehr. And a penalty against the Kings. They're going to get Regehr for hooking.
Not too much time in your own zone. That's what's happening right now. The Sabres are hemming the Kings in. The Kings go to the penalty box. We're back. Patrick O'Neill on the bench. Matt Fradd.
Welcome back. I'm here with Matt Fradd. And Matt, no easy games in this league. Sabres are making things tough, and now an important kill.
Yeah, that's what we try to stay out of the box, and we have a good PK, and we just got to keep at it and try and play with speed.
All right, give me an idea how you guys extend this league after this kill.
Yeah, I get the kill. That's going to be a huge momentum swing, and then keep going with speed and getting pucks deep and bringing it to the net and getting shots.
All right, good luck. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, Bob and Jim, back to you.
Well, if the Kings and Daryl Sutter want to accomplish what Matt Fradd's talking about, it has to be probably about that puck placement Matt was talking about, because so far here lately, the Sabres controlling in the Kings zone.
Hodgson, Ennis, and Molson up front on the power play for the Sabres, but the Kings clear it out to center ice as Doughty cleared it. Regehr for hooking at 10:34. The Sabres are 0 for 2 with a man advantage, and they've had 2 shots. Kings have a 1-0 lead. Sabres with a chance to tie it. Here they come. Tyler Ennis across the line. Throws it on the right side. Thrown down in deep by Jamie McBain. Down the corner. Whistle blows, and we have a penalty coming up here.
Yeah, it looks like McBain's going to the box, Bob. Well behind the play. Maybe one of the Kings clipped with a high stick. We'll have to see, but this is going to... Yeah, this is going to bring it back to 4-on-4, and this was a speed dumping by the Sabres. They had it going, everyone backing off, and you get a stop right here, guys. McBain is getting the puck right here. He doesn't get it on his stick. He gets it on his skates, and then when he follows through, does his stick come up? Bang, right there, yeah. He gets it across the forehead of Jake Muzzin. So there was a lot of speed going on there. So the Kings, a couple of moments ago, had a defensive zone penalty. Before that, an offensive. So now the Sabres give one back, but it's back to 4-on-4 here for about 1:30. Then the Kings would have a brief power play.
So the Sabre power play lasted only 16 seconds, and now it's 4-on-4 skating. Puck comes down into the corner. Stafford taken out of the play, and the puck picked up by the Kings. Muzzin has an assist on the King goal tonight. Brings it to center and gives it to Doughty. Doughty back to Muzzin. Muzzin across the line. Muzzin still has it. Hangs on to it. Tried to send it into Brown in the corner. Brown throws a check there. And along the boards, Muzzin tried to get to it. Now taken by Brown. Brown hook and right side. A shot wide. A penalty coming up against the Sabres on that hook. Here's Kopitar. Kopitar to Brown. Knocked down by Enroth. And the whistle blows.
Whistle blown down because the Sabres cleared the puck, so they did touch it, but it was pinballing around there. I think Kopitar kind of fooled everyone. He just unloaded a wrist shot from a bad angle, but everyone wants Kopitar to do that a little bit more just to get the puck on net. Brown drew the penalty. It was a stick foul against the Sabres, a slash right across the hands. And, you know, you had that Muzzin pinching down, right there, there's the slash. And a lot of times, it's not necessarily the force, it's where it happens. If you go into the hands, you go in the box. Stafford gets the slash, and the Kings 4-on-3 power play.
And a chance to widen their lead here in the second period. A lot of ice out there in the 4-on-3, but the Sabres win the draw, and it's cleared by Mark Tessin. Starting back out now with 8 minutes left to go here in the second period. Back up to center ice. Pass on the right wing side to Kopitar to Doughty. Doughty across the line. Back to the left point. Kings with it. Here's Richards moving in. He shoots. Knockdown. Rebound in front. And tipped away. Back over to Richards. Richards still has it. To Kopitar. Kopitar. Back over left wing side. Played there. Now Kopitar shoots. He scores!
intentional. The Kings are going to pass the puck laterally, but it all starts with that first quick shot. Then you get the other team scrambling. Once across the ice, twice across the ice, 3 times here across the ice, 3 in a row. And when you move that puck laterally like that, sooner or later, someone's going to get open. And you see Kopitar, he doesn't get all of it. He doesn't. And Enroth is there, but because it's a knuckleball changeup, Enroth can't get a beat on it. But the movement of the puck was what created the opening, and the time, and the space. Doughty makes the last pass to Kopitar. I think, though, Bob, that all stemmed off the first initial shot by Mike Richards. Get the puck down low, get the penalty killer scrambling. It happens. The Kings take a 2-0 lead.
Well, we've seen other teams move that puck around and score on the power play, and now the Kings do it, and they have a 2-0 lead. It's the 3rd power play goal of the season for Kopitar. His 4th goal of the year. Now a shot and a save, and hanging on is Jonathan Quick.
The power play works. The Kings opportunistic tonight. And they've held the Sabres right now to 11 shots on goal, so the Kings are doing it defensively. That's not unusual. The Sabres have had a lot of scrambles where they don't get credit for shots on goal. Another look at the goal. And it goes across the ice 1 time. Then it goes across the ice a 2nd time. Then it goes across the ice a 3rd time. You see the Kings finding the seams. They're kind of fortunate there on the putback because of the knuckleball changeup, but when you have the movement, you should get rewarded. The Kings do. 2-0.
Kopitar now with 11 points in his last 8 games. Points in 3 straight. He's got 5 points in those 3 straight games. Puck comes back left side. Kopitar's in front again. Pass comes up the middle to Doughty. Now to Richards. Richards over to Toffoli. And
off the crossbar, into the mesh. Man, you love it. You love to see the potential of this kid. I mean, he gets it, and he flings it towards the net. Enroth may have got a piece with a glove, but I think it certainly hit something after that. No, he didn't. When you shoot that fast, it's tough for a goaltender to get a piece of it. And this is just skill. And it's an inch from being a goal for Tyler Toffoli. It doesn't count, but you'll like to see that. Not only the shot and the skill factor, but the attitude. Give me the puck. I'm going to shoot it on net.
Kings have 40 seconds left on this power play. It's 5-on-4 now, and the Kings win the draw. But Doughty couldn't get to it, and it's cleared up to center ice. Fired all the way down to the King zone now by Steve Ott. #1 pick at Dallas back in 2000. Now up to center ice. Into the zone, left side. Richards tried to give it over to Toffoli. Just tipped away, but Toffoli got it to Kopitar to Doughty. Doughty sends it left side, gets it back again. Doughty walks the line, gets it over to Kopitar. Kopitar down into Richards. Richards looking, back to Doughty. One-timer wide and off the glass. And the puck is cleared by Tyler Myers into the King zone, and that is the end of the King power play. They have a 2-0 lead, though, with 6:09 to go in the second period.
Would you like to be a screening player on that last shot by Doughty? Duck! Get out of the way.
I wouldn't want to be a screening player on anybody's shot.
You got to get in front to create that traffic, and the Kings tried to. So executed on the 4-on-3. Didn't get what they wanted on the 5-on-4, but Kopitar gets the goal again. Toffoli off the crossbar. Good signs for the Kings. They did spend 1 day of the last 4 preceding today's game day where they just concentrated on special teams. Of course, the big focus on the penalty kill, but it looks like the power play pretty sharp too.
Here driving toward the back of the net. Clifford tipped away from him, but picked up by Matt Cratton. Cratton back to the blue line. Turns, shoots wide. Rebound off the boards. Picked up by Tyler Ennis for the Sabres. And he gets it over to Jamie McBain. Now to center ice. Loose puck collected by the Kings, and Trevor Lewis throws it back behind the net. Enroth didn't cut it off. Comes over on the right side, and a check thrown there on Ristolainen. And the puck slides out to center ice where Kings Voinov goes back to get it.
Right now the Kings in sync on the forecheck. I mean, they're getting the pressure at the right time. They're hemming the Sabres in the zone, creating turnovers.
Look at that. Kopitar took it away from Ristolainen. Now the Kings in the Sabres zone again, but the Sabres pick up a loose puck. Back they come to center ice, 3-on-3. Across the line, left side, Molson up the middle. McBain shoots, save. Molson couldn't get the rebound. Quick had it, and he hangs down.
And the Kings had the forecheck going, and then Aaron Pass sends the Sabres going the other way. Matt Molson had a chance there. Couldn't get his stick on it. The Kings with a 2-goal lead. are back on their game. I know they allowed that last chance. It was a 4-on-3 with a jump in, McBain jumping in, and kind of a fortunate bounce so Matt Molson doesn't get it. But the forecheck was being sustained, and that's the Kings game. Let's see if they can get back to that. It's about chipping pucks into positions where you can get it back and get a body on someone and just keep going, stop the puck up. That's what you try to do. Number one goal on a forecheck. Dump it in, stop it, so the other guys can react.
Cody Hodgson up front again with Ennis and Molson, and the Sabres win the draw. Ehrhoff at the left point. His shot blocked out to center by Williams. And then the Sabres get it back in their own zone. Mark Pysyk, 21-year-old, go along with the 4 teenagers they have on their roster. Puck to center ice. Tipped away from Molson, picked up by Tyler Ennis. Ennis, right side, still has it. Tipped away, but up the middle, and then not able to handle it is Ehrhoff, and the Kings come back. Right side, Williams across the ice. Shot by Brown, save made. And then Brown runs into Williams and knocks him down. The Sabres have a 4-on-2 across the line. King zone, and they misfire on a pass. Then it's thrown wide to the right side, taken by Brown. He's got Williams ahead. Williams couldn't handle it, and getting back is Ehrhoff to take it away.
Open up. Now again, you have a 2-0 lead. You don't necessarily want that. The Sabres would take it. That's the second shift in a row, Bob, where the Sabres jumped a defenseman in to make it a 4-man attack.
Long pass into the King zone, and Willie Mitchell gets checked there as they puck back behind the King net. Now slides around the left wing side. Pinching down in deep is Kalinder. Kalinder down in the corner. Now the Kings' Willie Mitchell chases it down. He takes a hit, but he got it out to center ice and back into the Sabres zone. Stopped there by the goaltender. Was tipped on the way, and the goaltender, Enroth, moves it quickly up to center ice. Taken there and thrown in back behind the net by Larson. Kings get to it in their own zone, and it's cleared up to the blue line to Tyler Toffoli. Toffoli gets it left side to King. King hanging on, tipped away from him and out to center ice, and chased down again by Johan Larsson. Larsson into the King zone, almost overskated, and the Kings back to break it up as Voynov came over.
Yeah, you read the play. The puck's bouncing. The offensive player doesn't have control. Then you're extra aggressive. Get him when he's not controlling the puck, and Voynov does it with body position first, then strip the puck.
Kings clear it again into the Sabre zone, and back to get it, Jamie McBain in his 5th year. Puck comes over the right side, and Ristolainen has it. The Sabres still in their own zone. McBain now to Ristolainen again. And off the boards, held in by the Kings. They get it to Lyndon Bay. Bay's pass deflected, and hustling over is Jordan Nolan. Nolan into Carcillo. Carcillo in the Sabre zone, down to one knee, gives it to Lyndon Bay. Bay tried to make a move there. He did get it into Nolan. Nolan gets pinned. Lyndon Bay digs it out for the Kings. Bay can't get around as it's knocked down there by Corey Trop. And still a battle for it. Bay is still there trying to get the loose puck, but the Sabres come out with it. And they give it to Jamie McBain.
With a 2-goal lead, that's the type of shift you want. Get it low, get it deep, and get the bodies flying.
Marcus Foligno throws it back behind the King net. Kings have it. Now here is Jordan Nolan. Hard pass off the boards into the Sabre zone. Broken up there by Pysyk. And the Kings in front of their own bench now. Can't get control of it. It's sent into the King zone, and Doughty hustles over to pick it up. Here's Doughty up the right side. Played it off the boards ahead to Fratton. Fratton to Lewis. Lewis into the Sabre zone. Lewis down in deep. He runs into Pysyk from behind, and the Sabres pick up the loose puck. 2-0 Kings with 1:45 to go in the second period. Pass into the King zone, and Willie Mitchell back to get it. Kings in their own zone. Martinez to Mitchell. Back to Martinez. He got it up to center ice, taken away from the Sabres over. The Kings get it right back again as Matt Fratton got his stick on it. Now Fratton at center. Here's Fratton across the line. He got checked there, but he threw it in deep in the Sabres zone. Now Clifford in to throw a check. Puck comes back left point. Mitchell shoots, blocked in front. Sabres go for it, and it's picked up by the Kings, though. Picked up on the right wing side, and here is Clifford.
Myers is after Fratton, Bob, in front. Fratton had that good hit, and Myers didn't like it.
And look at Fratton, he knocks Myers down.
I think that Myers is going to get an extra penalty here. He should. He started it. He left his position. Fratton has shown this before. I've talked to Matt about it. You know, he feels his game is getting his low center of gravity into a solid foundation before he levels the other player with a hit. Now Myers perhaps sensing the Kings have the forecheck going and maybe turning the game around, and He decides to probably do something for his team, but here it comes. You see the puck now, and the Buffalo Sabres player, McCormick's head was already low. Here's Myers. He talks to him. He doesn't like the contact. He'll drop his glove, grab him, pulls him down, and then drops the gloves. Both guys throw, and it looks like Myers falls on a stick there. He lost his balance when he stepped on a stick. In my view, if I look at the rule book, that would be an instigation against Myers, so she get an extra one. I understood why he was upset. But still, it was McCormack leaning forward. He changed the position of his head. And Fratton was just finishing the check. Gonna stop here, guys. Look at the lean. Gonna get a lean by McCormack down and through. Fratton is trying to go shoulder to shoulder. But if the player just before contact changes the position of his head, there's no issue. Now, I don't think Myers sees that. And he tries to talk Fratton into getting something going here.
I thought he was explaining the rule.
I think so. You know, Matt, you're supposed to make sure that the contact is shoulder to shoulder. And if you don't, and again, he just falls on the stick. But McCormack was trying to get it out. Fratton doing what the Kings have been doing here. Talk about a heavy game. The last 10 minutes, the Kings have been playing a heavy game. Getting in on the forecheck and just taking the body. And Matt Fratton starts it right there. Myers does get the extra. If he does, that's 2 and a 10 plus the 5. He'll be out for a long time.
Myers is 6'8". Fratton is 6 feet. And the Kings on the power play now with a 2-0 lead late in the second period. Back behind the net. Richards, left wing side, back to the blue line. Played by Toffoli to Muzzin. Now Toffoli goes to the front of the net. Kings don't get it to him. Here's Doughty with a shot and a save by Enroth. Doughty in the right wing corner. Back to the right point. Toffoli. And the shot tipped up high and over the net. And the Sabres clear it into the Kings zone. Well, they got, what, 2 and 5, I think, if I heard the announcement right. Did not get that.
I gave him a hold instead of the instigation. Maybe the referee reading what's going on in the game. Certainly, the bottom line factor is the Kings get what they should get, which is a power play here. I don't think there's any question Myers went out of his way to start the fight, but he gets the extra point.
Kings in their own zone with 9 seconds to go in this second period. Pass up ahead to center ice. Kopitar to Williams. Up the middle. Shot by Boynoff and a save and a rebound. Fanned on by the Kings, but that's going to be the end of the period. A great chance there to get a goal at the end of that period. But at the end of 2, the Kings have a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, the Kings opportunistic in this game, but certainly, again, the last 10 minutes of that second period, that's Kings hockey. That's just getting in, and it's not necessarily fancy, but it does have an effect. And the Kings have been making it work when they're getting their chances. The power play, move it around, get those goals. They've done it a couple times tonight for a 2-goal lead.
Kopitar got a power play goal to give the Kings a 2-0 lead. That's where we stand at the end of 2. Patrick, Sean, and Jim, highlights and Fox Chalk coming up. We are moments away from the third period here at Staples Center. The Kings have a 2-0 lead headed into the third.
Well, it's up to the Kings to get back to what they were doing there in the second. And I think from a control standpoint, Bob, the segment there, the second period there, you just get the forecheck going, and third line, fourth line, everyone doing it, and that's so important to have that turnover with guys getting in hard on the forecheck. Joined right now by Davis Payne, Kings assistant coach. Davis, we're just talking about that second period and the game overall so far. Other than the power play goals, what do you like about what the Kings have been doing?
Well, I like our pace and support coming through the neutral zone. We knew they were going to be very structured, detailed in the neutral zone, trying to turn pucks over against us. We've been pretty solid in that area. We need to make sure we get through this power play, put another one up on the board, be great. But that neutral zone's key for us to make sure we're quick in our end, denying any of their plays with their D-men or their high forward. But that contact, that play going through the neutral zone is important.
And Davis, we've talked about it before. That leads to a solid forecheck, and I think we saw that in the second.
We want to be a forechecking team. We'll take another 20 of it.
All right, Davis, thanks very much. So you get that puck moving, you get it going north-south, you have the pace, and that allows for puck placement. You get puck placement, you get a forecheck.
Kings have got 50 seconds left to go on this power play. They've scored 2 power play goals, and they have power plays now in 4 consecutive games. 2-0 lead, third period, ready to get started here at Staples Center. Kopitar ready to face off against Steve Ott, and Kopitar wins the draw. Kings on the power play, back in their own zone. Doughty gets it to Williams. Here's Williams up the center ice. Williams Comes across the line. Poke checked off his stick and cleared. Back into the Kings zone where Doughty hustles back and drops it off now to Muzzin. Here's Muzzin. Back up ahead to center ice. Muzzin's pass off on the right side to Kopitar. Kopitar backhands it in. And behind the net, cut off there by Enroth. 22 seconds left to go in the King power play. Kings have to chase it back in their own zone as it's cleared by the Sabres. And back in to get it is Muzzin. Up ahead to Kopitar. Kopitar right side shot by Toffoli. And it's off the glass.
Back again.
Puck comes back out to center and taken by the Sabres and backhanded down in deep by Brian Flynn. 2 shots on the power play for the Kings. It's now over. The Sabres back at full strength. Kings with a 2-0 lead. Puck comes down in behind the net. Stopped there by Enroth. The Sabres don't clear. Shot by Regehr. Just tipped up high by Richards and over the net. Sabres chase it down again. But the Kings get to it first. Richards batted out of midair. Picked up by the Sabres. They get it to the left point, but Regehr is there to hold it in. Throws it down the corner to King. Dwight King. Now Nolan. Nolan trying to get to it, but the Sabres break it up and bring it up to center ice and into the King zone. Throws it down in deep. Thrown down in deep by Henrik Thelinder. Kings back in to get it. And played over now to Regehr. Got it out to center ice. Sabres without their big, tall guy, John Scott. A big, tough guy, but he's serving the last game of a 7-game suspension for hitting Louis Eriksson of Boston. And Scott will be eligible to come back into play tomorrow night when the Sabres are down in Anaheim. Puck taken by the Kings Muzzin. Not that he's going to make a big offensive difference in the game, but he is a big body if he comes back and plays. Down in deep, back behind the net. Clifford went for it, didn't get it. Sabres move it up the right side. Now sent ahead and down the right wing side. Corey Trop down in deep, and he takes a hard hit into the boards. He got hit hard there by Jake Muzzin.
Good angle by Muzzin. Picked the right time to close the gap. And give a lot of credit to Trop there. He knew he was going to get nailed at some point, but he kept going. But solid fundamentals, good body position by Jake Muzzin.
Sabres. Thelinder gets it up on the right wing side. Here is Trop again. Throws it in front. Batted away, but held in by Steve Ott. Ott shoots, knocked down in front. Again, the Sabres have the loose puck. To the blue line, and it gets by Thelinder all the way back into the Sabres zone. These same 2 teams will meet again on Tuesday night in Buffalo, and that will be the first of a 4-game road trip for the Kings. Buffalo, New Jersey, the Islanders, and the Rangers. Actually, it's the Islanders, then the Devils and the Rangers. Here is King moving in. He threw it right through the crease. Puck comes out to the blue line, held in there by Willie Mitchell. In behind the net. Comes around the boards, right side, and comes out to center ice where the Kings go back to get it. Richards moves in ahead. Picked up and shot deflected up in the air, back to the blue line. Held in the zone, though, is thrown down in by Voynov. Back behind the net, they got a man in front. Can't get to it. It was Trevor Lewis who got knocked down. Puck comes along the boards, and the Sabres dig it out and clear it out to center ice. Thrown across the line by Cody McCormick, and the Kings take over. Here's a pass up to the blue line, and now over to Regehr. Regehr drives it into the Sabre zone. Puck comes off the boards right toward the front of the net. Broken up, but taken now by Nolan. Nolan's pass batted away from him and played by McBain. McBain for the Sabres, got it off on the right side. Pesek clears it out to center. Now to the blue line. Held in at the right point with a loose puck picked up by Clifford. Here's Kyle Clifford. Clifford down the right side. Clifford goes behind the net. He got knocked down into the boards and the puck taken by the Sabres.
The Kings are getting speed, though. When they get that speed, they're trying to get it to the net. That's a good sign.
Sabres into the King zone. Played on the left side. Thrown down and deep by Johan Larsson. Now behind the net. Tipped away from Girgensons. And the Kings get it up ahead to Williams. Here's Justin Williams, right wing, Sabre zone. He peels back. And his pass comes out to center ice. I think he thought he was going to have a man behind him to get the puck to. And picked up by Willie Mitchell.
It was Alec Martinez on the play. Martinez will activate. That's a big part of his game. And, just kind of a miscommunication between both guys.
Long pass ahead, a shot and a save by Quick. A good save by Quick on the shot by Tyler Ennis. Now Ennis in the corner. Put it back behind the net. Molson with a wraparound. Knocked down by his brother-in-law. Puck cleared up ahead to center ice.
Battle down flat. Then help from King.
Here is Doughty. Doughty tried to throw it toward the front of the net. Sabres knock it down. They don't clear, though. Held in by the Kings. Here's Dwight King trying to get through it in front, but it's intercepted by Mark Pysyk. And he clears it back into the Kings zone. Both teams change on the fly, but Muzzin brings it to the blue line, gives it back to Doughty. Now off on the right side to Nolan, and now Doughty and Muzzin go off the ice for the Kings. Puck taken by Trop for the Sabres. Can't hang on. Here's Clifford. Hit shot, saved by Enroth. Down in behind the net and into the corner, picked up by Trevor Lewis. Right side, shot from there and deflected wide. Back out to the left point to Regehr. Regehr's pass right across the blue line to Clifford. He threw it down in deep. Nolan goes in to try and dig it out for the Kings. Nolan still battling there to get it free, and now it's taken by Fratton. Fratton along the boards. He gets checked there. And now Lewis gets knocked down. I think it was Lewis. I said Fratton. Lewis got knocked down. Pass in front, broken up. And it is cleared out to center ice and taken away by Regehr. Kings get it up to Kopitar, who's come on the ice. Kopitar drops it back. Regehr with a shot and a save by Enroth. Kopitar with it again. Now back to the blue line. Quick shot there, wide to the left. And the puck comes up to center ice. Sabres have it. Shot was by Martinez. Now on the right wing side, driving down in deep into the corner. Puck taken there by Stafford. Stafford threw it around the boards over to Pysyk. Pysyk's pass knocked down by Kopitar, but held in play by Cody McCormick. Now here's Drew Stafford again for the Sabres. Stafford checked in the corner. Kings dig it out. Stafford gets it back again. Stafford hanging on. Gets it back to Pysyk at the blue line. Now to Stafford. Stafford trying to get around Martinez. Can't do it. Passes down in deep. And a pass behind the net to Stafford, taken away by the Kings' Kopitar, and then cleared out to center ice.
Good patience by both teams. The Sabres kept pucks in possession. The Kings had good body position to keep it on the outside.
Williams down, a shot wide by Muzzin. Doughty trying to hold it in. He did. Kings try to get it to Richards, but it's broken up, and the Sabres back to center ice. Picked up there and sent across the line by Ristolainen into the Kings zone, down into the corner, dug out there by Toffoli, and he gets it out to center to Richards, just out of his reach. Now Toffoli throws a check, and the puck taken by King. King's pass to Richards. Richards across the line, Sabre zone. Richards shoots, saved by Enroth. Rebound, Richards again in the corner, but his pass taken away by Henrik Telinder. Kings trying to get to it again, and the Sabres come out with it, back up to center ice. Lift off the right wing boards, down in deep by Larson. But Doughty back to get it for the Kings. Now the right point, shot by McBain is wide, and played off the boards by Dwight King. King got checked. Sabres go for it again. Back to the blue line. Then a shot wide to the left side, and rebound taken by Trevor Lewis. Lewis hounded by Jamie McBain of Buffalo. Now Doughty chases it down. Both teams at times tonight have had really good forechecks, and now the Kings get it out to center, but the Sabres have it again. Jamie McBain throws it right back into the Kings zone.
In the context of the game, the Sabres want to get it going, obviously, to get back in this game with a goal, so they're being aggressive. But on the other end of it, the Kings are getting good body position and keeping it on the outside, so both teams are kind of getting what they want, but the Sabres not getting what they need. The Sabres tried earlier with Matt Molson from behind the net. Of course, his brother-in-law does the job. Paddle down, nice right there. Now watch, though, the push through here by King. Make sure there's no second opportunity. Push, push, push. Good body position. Inside body position. He has his body between Molson and the net. Does it right there. Carl Jr. Sports Update coming up a little bit later. Patrick O'Neill will take a look ahead to the Canucks. Vancouver, and here's Saturday night.
Saturday night at 7 p.m. Again, make note of that. 7 p.m. start on Saturday night. Puck taken by the Sabres. Back to the blue line. Shot from there and a save by Quick as it got out, and then Molson had to go up high and over the net. Shot was by Pysyk from back of the blue line. Sabres again with some pressure on in the King zone. Right side, Tyler Ennis. Ennis tried to give it back to the blue line. He did, and a save by Quick on the shot by Ristolainen. Now the loose puck played by Nolan, but he gave it away. He had a chance to clear, and Sabres hold it in.
Another play there, Bob, where Quick did a good job making sure he's getting those rebounds away from the front of that. So the sharpness is a game tonight for Jonathan Quick all night long. It started in the first and continues here in the third.
Now Clifford muscled it out to center ice, and the Sabres, when they brought it back in, were offside on the play. 10:08 to go, and the Kings up 2-0.
Kings have a 2-0 lead. We look back to the first period for a James Chamberlain save of the game. Jonathan Quick, sharp tonight. He has to move to his left. He's going to kick the leg back to his right, but watch how forward he comes with his body. Rebound comes out, but watch him go at it. Watch him attack it. He comes out at the same time he's going across, and that's so important to cut down the angle. Again, a lot of guys can go left to right. A lot of guys can go north to south. Jonathan Quick can go two ways at once. Flexibility, strength, he gets it done.
Jonathan Quick, he's looking for his 9th win of the year. He's 8-5-0 on the year. Tied for 6th in NHL wins coming into the game tonight. And as we mentioned earlier, it's his 300th NHL game. Now up to center ice. Sabres, Tyler Myers. Throws it right side. Now in the middle, pass on the left wing, and a shot back, or a pass back in front, and a penalty coming up here.
Jay Kopitar doesn't take many penalties, but he takes one here to save a goal. He had the break on net. He had Trop getting into a position where the crisscross pass was going to work, and Kopitar got his sticks onto the arms or the hands. And see, Trop goes and just goes in behind Kopitar. When the rebound comes out, of course it's not a rebound, but you saw the stick into the hands. It's going to come right there, yeah. Trop thought he was going to have the opportunity on the cross pass.
2 minutes more.
Slash is the official call, and again, some penalties are a little bit unnecessary, especially those offensive. That's one where you have to take. If Trop gets it, might be 2-1.
Well, here's a big penalty kill for the Kings because one goal puts the Sabres right back in this game. They're down 2-0. They're 0 for 3 on the power play tonight with only 2 shots. Kings don't clear it out yet. Held into the left point, thrown in out of the reach of Molson. And now a double team there. It's sent right in front of the King net and cleared by Trevor Lewis.
Don't normally talk about Slava Voinov in penalty kill situations. The Kings have some injuries, got to move things around. I thought he's been very aggressive tonight where he's making that read where he's the first man that starts the rotation. When he goes all the way, and that shuts it down for the other team.
Sabres back up to center ice. Pesek on the right side. Throws it into the Kings zone. And it is deflected.
It disappears.
Yeah, where'd it go?
Jonathan Quick was motioned. Faceoff's going to go outside, so Cave hit the boards and slid up over top of the glass. Bottom line, it's going outside. And that's important for Jonathan Quick. The rotation is something that's so important on penalty kills. It has to be started by someone, and then it has to be followed up. In the last few games for the Kings, it's been either one guy going and the other guy's not following up, or the first guy not going, and then everyone else reacting and running out of position. Not the case so far tonight.
Sabres drive it into the Kings zone. Ristolainen threw it into the corner. They're still on the power play for another minute and 5 seconds. Sabres with it, back to the blue line. Now they get it over to Ristolainen again. Ristolainen's pass to Ott. Ott moves it left side. Shot from there and a save by Quick. No rebound there. He hangs on. Doughty got dumped right in front. The shot coming from Tyler Myers.
If you see it, you stop it. And if you see it, there's not going to be much happen as far as rebounds. The Kings, as the puck's moved around a couple times, you'll see the Kings get into a situation where they box out. Stop right here. Doughty moves in here. No Sabres in front. And Jonathan Quick is going to see this one all the way. So the Sabres take the shot at the same time. A couple sticks swinging at it, but good box out, good position. Keep it on the outside and let your goalie see it.
And on the face-off in the Kings zone, Sabres had it and lost it, and the Kings clear out to center. Cleared there by Mike Richards. 43 seconds left to go in the power play for the Sabres. They're down 2-0 here in the third with 8.5 to go. Up to center ice. On the right wing side, a hip check there. That knocks down Myers, and the puck cleared back down into the Sabres zone.
With Robin Regehr making sure the gap was controlled. He didn't back off. He stood up and made the play.
Sabres start out again now with 22 seconds to go in the power play. Long pass, tipped down in, and Voinov back to get in the King zone. Can hang on. Puck taken down the left wing side, now put behind the net. Sabres trying to pick it up there. Johan Larsson checked along the boards. Still a battle for there as the Sabres try to dig it out. They do, but Voynov is there along with Brown. Brown to Williams, and Williams clears it, and the Kings are back at full strength.
There's four guys working together. The Kings had 4 men in the same corner, but it doesn't matter. Extra aggressive. The Sabres have no time to move the puck around.
So the Sabres 0 for 4 on the power play tonight. We've talked a lot about the Kings penalty killing and how they've struggled with it lately, but not tonight so far. 0 for 4 the Sabres, and the Kings still have the 2-0 lead. Here's Kopitar. Kopitar down into the corner. Kopitar check there. Sabre zone to the blue line. Picked up there by Muzzin. Over to Doughty. Doughty makes a move. Doughty shoots. It's deflected left side. Played there by Brown. Brown up the middle to Muzzin. He shoots and a save by Enroth. Puck taken by the Sabres in their own zone. They get it over now to Tyler Myers. Myers eludes a check from Fratton, but a high stick as Fratton got a high stick in the face and a penalty for the Sabres.
Myers on Fratton again. He went off earlier. Myers had the extra. He gets one here. Kings 2-0 back with the power play.
All right, welcome back. Kings going on the power play. Myers is in the box. This is Patrick O'Neill with the Carl's Jr. Sports Update. This Saturday, big division matchup with the Vancouver Canucks. Roberto Luongo looking for his 9th win of the season tonight. Currently, Canucks leading in San Jose 4-2 in the third. And John Tortorella, new head coach of Vancouver. I tell you, as far as coaches go in the NHL, Bob and Jim, you get your money's worth with Torts.
Well, sometimes. Sometimes he kicks you out of a press conference, too. He controls. Puck taken now by Muzzin. Kings on the power play with the Kings going by 3. Has down indeed a shot. Sharp angle shot by Richards, tipped away. Back to the blue line. Taken by Doughty. Over to Kopitar. Kopitar, he has a power play goal tonight. Richards has a goal and an assist. Here's Richards with it behind the net. In front, a nice pass there, but a stop by Enroth as he stopped Tyler Toffoli.
It's a intangible because so many things come together, but the purpose on the power play seems to be set. Tonight it's been Richards that's been dictating that purpose. And he had a shot that was long earlier. This one he makes a neat little pass to Toffoli, and it certainly seems like with the man advantage, the Kings are all on the same page. They know when the puck's being shot, they know it's being passed, when to drive, when to get to the front.
Back to the blue line. Kings get it over to Muzzin with room. He shoots. Blocked in into the corner. Picked up by the Kings again. Back to Muzzin, left point. He holds it in. He gives it to Doughty. Back to Muzzin. Right on the line. Muzzin, right side. Down into the corner now with 1:20 left to go on the power play. Back up to Doughty, left side. Doughty hangs on. Gives it up the middle to Toffoli. Now across the ice to Doughty. Doughty hangs on. Doughty down in the corner to Kopitar. Kopitar behind the net. Kopitar to Toffoli. Toffoli had trouble handling it, but he got it over to Kopitar. Back to Toffoli. Toffoli to Doughty. Shoots. Save, and Enroth dives on the rebound.
I'm not sure if Richards got a stick on it, but certainly Enroth had to fight just to find it because of the traffic. And again, the Kings have that movement. And a lot of it's because Toffoli is such an active man shooting the puck. You see the flow and then it gets the stick. No, it gets the glove. Wow. That's a great save. I mean, it's partial screen. You have a stick waving at the puck. You're going from side to side, and Enroth finds a way to keep that arm away from the rest of his body and keep it free to move out for the glove save.
They announce all the tickets sold tonight, 18,118, 77 consecutive sellouts for the Kings, including the playoffs. Back to the blue line, sent down into the corner. Kings still on the power play for 54 seconds, but the Sabres get to it, and it's cleared back down into the Kings zone. And quick way out toward the corner. It was cleared there by Drew Stafford. Kings start back out to center. Kings with 3 shots on this power play so far. Puck driven around the board. Steve Ott goes for it. Ott's pass into the corner, but the Kings get over Martinez to hold it in. Martinez pass held in again at the blue line and sent down in deep by Williams. Pinching down the right side is Voynov. Gets help from Williams. Williams holds it in. Williams knocked down to the ice. Gets up again. Williams gets his stick on it, back to the blue line. Kings with it, left side, Martinez shoots, save, Enroth. into the corner. Sabres with it and cleared again into the King zone, and now only 7 seconds remain in the King power play.
Impressed with the poise of Enroth. I mean, he's been right there. 4 shots now. The power play's over, but an active power play for the LA Kings. And Enroth, he just stays under control, a lot of poise, and that sends a message that he's in control. And usually that makes your teammates feel like they're in control.
Enroth out of Sweden. He was their number 2 pick back in 2006. And the Kings have the 2-0 lead, but the Sabres back at full strength. Puck on the left side to Willie Mitchell. Mitchell holds it in the Sabre zone. Tipped away and taken by Mark Pesic. Pesic for the Sabres, gets it to Tyler Myers. He moves it deep into the Kings zone, and Willie Mitchell back to play. Mitchell checked in the corner, gets it to Clifford. Clifford, his pass intercepted. He tried to go across the ice, held in. Now a shot by Tallinder and a save by Quick. So now we're down to 4:17 to go. Kings up by 2.
Power play has been the story tonight. 2 goals. SoCal Honda Dealers helpful assists on the game. Muzzin to Richards. Doughty to Kopitar. Kopitar doesn't get all of it, but he gets a little bit of a roller. The knuckleball works, and the Kings have 2 power play goals and that 2-0 lead. 4:17 remaining. The Sabres trying to get the forecheck going here in the third. The Kings trying to keep the puck on the outside.
Face off in the King zone, and it's to the right of Jonathan Quick, and on the draw, Richards, and the Kings control it and have it in their own zone. Pass up the left side to King. Dwight King up to center to Toffoli. Throws it down into the zone, and back to get it there is Tallinder. To Hodgson, now up to center ice. Sabres have it. Thrown by Tyler Myers across the line, but back to collect the puck is Richards. He gives it over to Doughty. Doughty's pass along the boards to Toffoli. Toffoli double team there. The puck comes behind the net and out of the reach of Muzzin. Comes around the boards in the King zone. Sabres with some pressure on now. They're down by 2 goals with time running out. 3:39 to go in the third. Puck comes free, taken by Doughty. Here's Doughty, and he clears up to center ice. Myers knocks it down there. King trying to get to it. Puck comes over to Hodgson. He tripped over the red line. Puck comes down the right side again and picked up by Voynov. Gives it over to Regehr, now to center ice. Chase down the left side and across the line, but Brown gets stopped there. But Regehr drives it in as Brown got back on side. Sabres moving around the boards, and a battle. Regehr battling along with Kropp. And the puck taken by Mark Pesic for the Sabres. And now we're down to 3 minutes to go in regulation. Puck comes to Kopitar. He holds it in the Sabres zone. Pass to Williams. Williams tried to kick it in up to his stick, but Pesic broke it up. And the Sabres get it back to their own blue line. Now tipped down into the King zone. Quick moves out. He leaves it there for Regehr. Regehr plays the boards, but the puck is held in by Foligno. And now at the blue line, held in again, but knocked down by Regehr, and he gives it to Kopitar. Kopitar throws it in, and Clifford going forward behind the net. Sabres get it over to Tyler Myers. Myers hanging on to it in his own zone. Gets checked there by Clifford. Myers with it again. He drops it deeper in his own zone. Pass up to the blue line and out to center ice, and then a hard check there as Fratton got hit, and he got hit by Cody McCormick.
McCormick is coming all the way across the ice. At the last second, Fratton saw him, was able to brace himself so he could protect himself from flying into the boards.
Now backhanded down into the King zone. Chased down and deep. The goaltender Enroth headed to the bench. 1:55 to go in regulation. The net is wide open in the Sabres end of the ice. Kings trying to get to it. They get iced with an empty net goal. Puck is in the corner. Stafford battling there. 6 attackers on for the Sabres. They get it back to the blue line. Held in nicely by McBain. Tipped wide. Stafford throws in front and loose puck. Who's got it? Quick is down on the ice and the whistle blows.
Johnny the Quick Bob that time. He was going 4 ways at once. And credit the Sabres. They really did move it around. Now, again, they have the extra attacker on there, so it creates a situation. You'll see Quick makes the first save here. Then he loses sight of the puck. It's on the other. He makes another save without even seeing it. It goes off his right leg pad a couple times, and it's finally a little fortunate there where the puck bounces. So Quick doing the job. Goalie has to be your best penalty killer. It's not a penalty here, but it's a man advantage situation. SoCal Go to the dealers. What's happening? 30th career game. Richards, goal assist. Kings power play doing the job tonight.
Kings win the draw in their own zone, and it's cleared out to center ice by Williams. The net is still empty at the Sabre end of the ice. Kings have a 2-0 lead with 1:23 to go. Back into the King zone. Left side, offside was Cody Hodgson. And the whistle stops play.
Hodgson was trying to set a pick on Kopitar. Kopitar ran into him. Both guys went over the line. Of course, Hodgson goes offside in that instance. Reminder, Kings Live, presented by SoCal Mazda dealers, coming up right after the game. Patrick O'Neill, Sean O'Donnell, Alex Gurney. We'll break some things down. Hopefully get some interviews and what's going on. But so far, so good.
Sabres into the King zone again. Hodgson down the right side, but Kopitar got to it. Now Kopitar in behind the King net. He gets it around to Williams. Williams slaps it off the boards, and it hits somebody on the King bench and back on the ice. So the whistle stops play with 1:05 to go in regulation.
Lyndon Bay sitting on the bench here at the end of his first NHL game. Talked this morning in the morning skate about, he's going to be nervous, admitting that. He's seen a couple of shifts here tonight on power plays. Started a power play one time tonight. Looks like the Sabres going to call a timeout and try to settle things down. So Lyndon will just hope to improve and keep getting better. His commitment to all three zones has impressed a lot of people around the Kings organization. The Kings have 10 players in the lineup tonight, Bob. Play with the Manchester Monarchs. So you talk about developing and getting players to play the way you want. A reminder to Kings fans, you can purchase your LA Kings Ice Crew calendar now, available at lakings.com/calendar, featuring the entire Ice Crew. And even, guess who? Bailey is involved with the calendar. Purchase yours up for only $19.95. All proceeds benefit the Kings Care Foundation. lakings.com/calendar to purchase yours. And to look back to the Kings who spent time with the Manchester Monarchs. Now coached by Mark Morris. Quick, Muzzin, Lewis, Brown, Boynoff, Martinez, Nolan, King, Bay, Toffoli. Of course, Bay and Toffoli, the newest Kings. I don't think they want to go back down to see the Monarchs.
Bay, 22 years old, number 5 pick of the Kings in 2009. Nice to have that depth, and those aren't the only guys down there that have a chance to play here in the National Hockey League. Puck is taken and cleared out to center ice after the face-off in the Kings zone. Less than a minute to go in regulation. Kings up 2-0. Myers pass in front of the King bench, played by Steve Ott. Ott gives it back over to Myers. He lost it, and Richards looking for the empty net. Can't get a good shot, and the Sabres back together.
Knowing Mike Richards there, Bobby was trying to pass to Trevor Lewis. He's that type of player. He's had a great game, a goal and assist, working on the power play, but Sabres having a difficult time getting in the zone. They finally just cleared in there.
Now Quick behind the net, stops it there. Puck driven around the boards and out to center ice. And now only 25 seconds remain in regulation. Sabres bring it across the King line, but cleared back out to center. 18 seconds to go. Kings have it. Kopitar ahead now to Brown, and he gets stopped. Brown down into the corner. Picks it up again, back to the center ice area, taken by Doughty. Doughty throws it in. That's going to be it. Quick is going to get his 158th win. It's going to be a shutout. His first shutout of the season, 26th of his career, his first ever against the Buffalo Sabres, and in his 300th game, Jonathan Quick gets the shutout for his 158th win. Richards had a goal and an assist tonight. Kopitar had the other goal. The King penalty killing was perfect. 4 out of 4. Power play, they were 2 out of 5.
We talked about the 4 days off and a lot of the system work. I thought Jonathan Quick showed that he used a lot of attention and focus on fundamentals and technique because he was sharp all night long. Early, late, he got the job done for the Kings.
So the Kings win it here 2-0 over the Buffalo Sabres. And now we're going to have the 3-star selection in the game tonight. Here's public address announcer Dave Joseph.
It's time to announce the Staples 3 stars of the game. Tonight, Staples' 3rd star from your Kings with an assist, number 8, Drew Doughty. The Staples' 2nd star from your Kings with a goal and an assist, number 10, Mike Richards. first star from your Kings, making 19 saves for the shutout in his 300th career game, number 32, Jonathan Quick.
Are they going to hear me?
Fans, now please turn your attention to the Kings bench as Drew Doughty joins Fox Sports West Patrick O'Neill. Patrick?
All right, Drew, good job. Yeah, that's right. We're playing to the house right now. Congrats on a big win, 2-0 over the Buffalo Sabres. That was Jonathan Quick's 300th career game, regular season in the NHL. He was pretty sharp, and you played in most of them with him.
Yeah, Quickie's always great. Having him back there as a defenseman especially, it always makes me feel safe. I can take a little bit of a risk offensively because I know he's always going to save my butt in the D zone there.
Hey, special teams were big in this game. First off, the penalty kill. I know that has been an area that you guys wanted to improve, and you were perfect tonight, 4 for 4.
Yeah, that was one of our main focuses this week at practice. We need to improve our PK. It's been one of our staples for the last 3 or 4 years, and we weren't happy with how it's been so far this year, and it was good to get 100% on the charts tonight.
All right, keep that rolling. Also, you have an assist on a power play goal, 2 power play goals for the Kings tonight, both of them. How did you think that unit looked?
That was great. We need our power play to be scoring every night. Our top players are on the power play all the time, and our top players need to make a difference and win games for us. And tonight, I think we helped to do that.
And a couple of guys stepping up. You've had some injuries, and you got the youngsters coming up and filling a real good role. How do you think Vey did in his NHL debut? And, of course, Toffoli had 1 ring off the post.
Yeah, they both played great. Those two are the future of the Kings organization, and, to have them up here to be playing some games and, hopefully have them stick around for the rest of the year. They're great players, and they help us out a lot.
Well, we're still talking to the future of the organization right now. That's you. And you got, Vancouver coming in, hockey night in Canada. I know it's going to be a 7 o'clock start, and I'm sure that the fans inside Staples with their 77 straight sellout tonight could be fired up for that one.
Oh, yeah, the fans will be rocking, and I know we will be too. Every time we play Vancouver, we've created that rivalry with them from playing them in playoffs, so it's going to be a great game, and we got to win that one too.
Almost 25 minutes of ice. Solid game, Drew. We appreciate the time.
All right, thanks.
All right, there's Kings defenseman number 8, Drew Doughty, just doing what he does. Solid game in and game out. Jonathan Quick, number 1 star. He gets the shutout. Sean O'Donnell will join me next with Kings Live.